Hello, everyone. I am Judah Bernard with the Rise Creating Your Voice. I am the wisdom dialoguer and the motivational warrior of the Rise Creating Your Voice. We are here today with Sunday Jewels on the Rise, where we talk about and give information every Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want everybody to come in with us because this is the day we're talking about why do we beat up on ourselves when we make a mistake. And we have our co-host, Miss LaRonda.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi. Introduce yourself.
I am Rhonda Glass, and I am the owner and founder of Jules Mentor LLC. And Jules is a self development agency, and I life coach and mentor children. Um, and I have my own dinner and dialogue podcast, and I am the co host with Mr. Judah Bernard on Sunday Jules on the Rise.
All right, let's open up with why do we beat up on ourselves? I want to get some understanding why we do that. What's your take on it? Hello, how are you?
Well, I think people really don't have the understanding of what mistakes are for.
Okay.
To me, mistakes are learning mechanisms. They're a time for you to evaluate and look at and learn instead of holding yourself hostage to the things that you did that you really didn't know. Because to me, a mistake is something that you did that you didn't know what it was. um, when you do something knowingly, to me, that's not a mistake. But a mistake is when you do something that you don't know. And so when you fail at those things, to me, it's a way for you to reevaluate to see what could you learn to do different or better or not do. And so a lot of times people don't look for the lessons in mistake. They just look at that they messed up. And then it goes back to me to how was things when you was growing up. Um, because for a long time I would do that to myself, was beat myself up if I got something wrong. But I had to understand and realize that I was that way because my daddy felt like I was supposed to have everything perfect. There was no room for mistakes with my dad. You know, either you will make 100 or you failed.
Mm-hmm.
And so growing up, there was a thing in my mind wasn't good enough. So every mistake I made, I held to it, and it really shut me down. So it just depends on um, where someone's mindset is, where someone's mindset is to be able to handle mistakes that's made because it's just different for everybody.
And that's what we have to understand. And I know you brought out a good thing that sometimes the parental piece of it has an effect on you because definitely you said your dad wanted 100%. So then we feel less than a failure when we don't necessarily amount up to that 100, correct?
Right.
So this is the thing that I know that has happened because basically, because we were definitely born, everybody was born. Everybody was born. There was no script, there were no books, there was no roadmap, there was no nothing for us to be actually be guided in. But guess what? We were born in a country that has its own rules, its own regulations, and their own norms. With
True.
how do we have a way of determining our own self?
It's according to what's been told to you. Um, I think people, me as like for me, I'm a parent of adults. My children are grown, and I'm noticing that I have so many similarities to my dad that it almost destroyed my relationship with my son.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, I just wanted him to get things right. And so he felt the same way I did. And so we have to be careful because we have to allow ourselves to make mistakes. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that is the only way you're going to grow is if you go through it to do it the way you feel right in doing it And then if it doesn't work, then you can learn from it. But there is no book to parenting. There is no book to how to be a child. You just go by what you've been taught. And sometimes those things are right. And sometimes those things are not right for you, but they're right for your parents.
Right.
So so to me, you have to let your children walk their own journey, whether you agree to it or not. But as a parent of adults or children, period, that is hard. Because in your mind, you're thinking because this happened to me this way, and this is going to happen to my child this way. And
Right.
it may or may not be true. Your
Right.
child will be a little bit more stronger than you in that area and can navigate it better and can teach you something. So it's all about learning. It's all about growing. It's all about getting to that place where God has created you to be, and you have to go through those dark times to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But then again, we still have each country has states within it. So, which have districts, which have sub districts, which have counties and various types of societies. We got to understand that every single one of them has some type of constraint, and
Right.
need to abide by to be considered a part of the group. So many people are trying to be part of the group. Happy Sunday, everyone. But you all also have no way of determining the rules, nor say in where you were born, or no say in what comes in your way in life. So sometimes in that, you're going to make mistakes. But the thing is, why do we beat ourselves up? Well, here we are. We're not here on anything. This is everything is on our own. If we just singular ourselves instead of thinking about a family, think about yourself and that one person, how you grew up. And if you can align yourself, because as I know as probably the middle child, I looked up to my older brothers.
Oh, you had the middle child syndrome.
It, I don't call it no middle child syndrome or
I'm
nothing.
just playing.
Look, I don't have that. But here we are, because even if you have to move to another place and have another group of people, you're bound to come across things of the same nature. So the thing is, me moving to DC and things like that. Hi, everybody. We are here talking about why do we beat up on ourselves. And the thing is, we have to commit to mistakes.
Mhm.
We got to commit to mistakes.
Yeah.
You are bound to make errors that will not sit well with the most of humans.
That's true.
You will. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. But while perfect is fine to attempt to stay within the boundaries established by others, the mere fact that there is so many people who have their own way of looking at things, which implies you are bound to step on some people's toes.
Oh, most
How many
definitely.
toes have I stepped on? How many toes that I'm probably going to continue to step on? Because everybody have their own way of thinking and their opinion.
Yep. That is true. Everybody has their own perspective. And just yesterday I was telling a group of women that I talked to at the rehab that it has to come to a point in time in your life where you only have an audience of one. Regardless of what's on the outside of you, regardless of your family, your friends, your man, your children, you have to have an audience of one in that relationship with God to direct you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people are not going to agree with those things, and it's okay. But you can't beat yourself up because you went another way and it didn't work. You have to go the way in which you feel comfortable doing, because um, ultimately it's going to build your character in the end if you allow your mistakes to train you or to build you.
Right.
But you can't, and I know it's easier said than done, than not beating yourself up when you're accustomed to doing that. But you're just gonna have to be like, okay, what can I do next? How can I make it better? So ask yourself those questions instead of just, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, I'm so this, because that's not true. You know, you made a mistake, and life happens. It's gonna happen every single day, and we gamble. It's life to in a sense, life is a gamble because you got to make a choice, but it's the choice that's better for you and not everybody else. So just focus on the audience of one, and then once you do that, then your choices it'll be for you.
But it's hard, definitely. I hear you saying to focus on the artist and one because a lot of people and myself we pay heed to other perspectives of our actions,
Yeah,
and
me too.
we also keep talking to ourselves too, like, oh, I messed up, I did wrong, I know I did wrong. But as we are judged by the outside voices, we are also judged by our inside voice too.
Oh yes, and I think the inside voice is worse than it all because you have to live with that constantly. You can remove yourself from people and isolate yourself, but you can't remove yourself from your own thoughts.
Right.
And so it's the self, beating up that bothers you more than it is other people. The other people only add to what you are already thinking. And that's why it bothers you so bad, is because they validating what you already feel and think. And
Right.
so it's like you putting a gas to the fire. So you have to really understand that people are just, people are okay with voicing their opinion, but at the end of the day, you have to make that decision of, how you gonna move past a mistake that you made. No one is gonna be able to give you that but you.
And that is so true. But we also beat ourselves up uh, when XYZ, the government, anybody says we made a mistake. Also beat ourselves up when the inner voice says we made a mistake. So we got to understand when we hear the inner voice, because it's a constant cycle that keeps going on and on and on. And those mistakes usually happen, like you stated, with the example of your parent. One is saying that you get a 100. And then if you didn't get 100, you either get fussed at or you get a whooping. But is that the right discipline when somebody makes mistakes?
It's not. I understand that now that I'm a parent, that when someone makes a mistake, the least thing that they need is to be criticized for the mistake that they're made. The least thing they need is to be, I told you so. At that point is when it's time for you to implement lessons and let them understand and see another perspective, and not judge them from the choices that they made, but help them the next time to make a better decision. Because I'm a mother of a daughter, and Lord knows her decisions um, irks me so bad, and I get so frustrated with her. But I realized that my words carried a lot with her, so I have to affirm her and then correct her mistakes.
Right. And I came across this line the other day: mistakes are the most information. It's a rich data stream.
Say that one more time.
Mistakes are the most information, a rich data stream.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing is, what we got to understand, we got to learn from mistakes.
We got to.
You don't keep doing the mistakes, or you don't try to avoid the mistakes, because you're going to actually hurt yourself more if you try to avoid the mistake.
That's true.
Mistake, learn from it, then move on.
Yep, I agree. Even in relationships, when you get into a relationship, you really don't know what you're getting into after you're in it. But if you enter it and it doesn't work out, you can't beat yourself up because you took a chance. You have to learn from it and move on to the next one. Because to me, each failed relationship grows you to know exactly what it is you want in a relationship, whether it's what you don't want, because the relationship is going to teach you something, what you don't want or what you do want. And so the more you do that, the more you're going to get to a place of knowing what you want when it's time for you to have your person. And you're going to be able to distinguish if this person is for you or not because of the mistakes you have made in the past, in past relationships. And that's with friendships and jobs and all other type of stuff too. You have to go through those things and make those mistakes in order to get to the place where you want to be.
Yes. Sims 4862 said we should learn, and Scorpio Tweety said admit you made the mistake. Yes, but in that admittance, can you learn from that mistake? We got to understand that when we're putting ourselves in a position to be affected, every mistake we make, we are bound to suffer unnecessarily, because some people just harbor and that they made that mistake. But if we actually alter our perception and look at mistakes from a different angle, we have the opportunity to move forward and grow. We are all thrown in this game of life with no guide, no roadmap. And I can't continually to say that. We are literally learning how to live a better life every single day.
Every single day.
That's what it's about. Only when we accept our mistakes and give ourselves the time and space to make an endless number of them, we can permit ourselves to even learn and move forward towards this interesting day and a better tomorrow. We must understand that from the door, from the top, that mistakes are going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. But then again, we do not need to set limits or guidelines like you talked about your father saying that if you don't get 100, what if you weren't 100 material and he just whipping you for nothing?
No, he didn't. I didn't get many whippings.
I'm just saying, you know, some people either get whippings or put on punishment because you get a D. Maybe you're just a D person.
That's true. But sometimes parents don't want to accept that about their children. Especially if their children have proven that they do good.
You said a failure.
Yeah.
You said failure. And I think I really want people, especially parents, to start assessing your children because, you know, we have a lot of children that, you know, have learning disabilities and things like that now. And then you want to push them so hard. But then again, if you have not assessed their learning ability, then now you're saying, oh, you should get an A in this class and they're not A material and they're in the wrong program. That could be some type of situation that's going on that you need to assess. Now, you probably didn't whip the child, put them on punishment because they didn't make an A and whatever. But then again, instead of supporting and guiding and actually seeking out assistance for that child to see where his or her learning ability is. And they show up a lot about what job they have, whether they're going to make this or they're going to do this. You know, it's a lot of things that we don't want to make mistakes because we feel like we failed our parents.
That's true.
And that's a lot that people hold on to. And I think as a parent, we should not be setting standards for your children. Your standards are only for yourself. Because once you set the standard, guess what happens? They're bound to fail. Yeah. If that's not the path they want to go. What's your talk about that?
I remember like I had said, like if I did make a 99 and not 100 to my daddy, you failed. And I remember when I figured out decided that I wanted to be a social worker. Mm-hmm. And the first thing my dad was, social worker? Social workers don't make no money. Because my first thought was, I'm going to be a computer. Hey, Candace, I'm going to be a computer programmer. And, you know, I'm going to make. But when I went to a job fair in college, social work just stuck to me. Like, I don't know what it was, but I had never heard of social work, had never come into contact with it. But when I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, it's me. It's me. And so when I changed my major, that kind of made him mad because he felt like I wouldn't succeed in social work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, but he later on got, you know, decided, you know, whatever. But it was very difficult for him to really grasp the decisions that I made for myself. Even when I left my hometown, he hated that. And I think a lot of times it's because parents just want control. And once you break that control, they try to do everything they can to bring you back under that control. Especially to me, and parents hold on to guilt to not being there because it wasn't like my mom and dad was together when I was being raised because they divorced when I was like 12. Mm-hmm. But still, my dad was a part of my life, and so but he wasn't just raising me. But anyway, I noticed that he had a standard for me that I didn't have for myself. And so, and I kept failing those standards that he set for me. But it wasn't until I was an adult that I broke free from his standards. because I wouldn't even make a decision without my father being okay with it. And when I got pregnant with my oldest daughter in college, I was too scared to even tell him because I knew it would be such a disappointment to him. So I don't even know how he figured it out. But he was mad at me for a long time because he didn't see his daughter in that type of way. And so he had an image of me in his head that wasn't me in my head. And so when I would talk to my dad about things, he didn't understand why I was feeling that way when he saw me this way. So it wasn't until I was like, I'm like 40 before I understood that my dad had me on a pedestal that he should have never had me on because I wasn't that girl. But in his mind, I was. And so, and I tried to live up to that all my life, and I never could. And like I said, and when I would make mistakes, I would just completely break down and beat myself up because I just felt like my world had ended because I disappointed, my dad. It never my mother, like I hated to disappoint him. And so you really have to get in a place where you understand you and your calling, and you're going to have to break free from the control that your parents can have on you. Even you may even know it's control, and your parents may come off of it as them being protective or whatever, but actually it's a battle for control. Because sometimes parents control through money. I never got a lot of whoopings and stuff like that, but I always got a lot of things. So I wouldn't get money, or I wouldn't get a car, or I wouldn't get this because I always had stuff. And so I ain't giving you no money to get this, or I ain't buying you that car, or stuff like that. So yeah, so you really have to get to a place where you just break free from the control that your parents have on you and the standards that they have, and let them know this is my path and you have to be okay with my path. And it wasn't until me and my dad had a big falling out that he got it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Had to take a falling out to get that, huh?
Yeah, it was kind of ugly. But since that day, we have been good.
Yes, yeah. But I think we still have to understand that even as parents and even as people, and I can talk about the job and coworkers and things like that. We all are not the same. And even in a leadership position, you have to assess your coworkers or your people that you supervise, because they might not have the education or the learning ability like you have. So sometimes you have to be have emotional intelligence. And I think a lot of people skip over that part.
Yeah.
Just want things, or they want it how they want it done. And that's not how this world works.
It's not. And you have to be okay with everything being different. It just is. It's going to be different. But like I was saying, even as a parent to adults, I have to pull myself back because me and my son was having a conversation, and his words to me was, "I need you to let me make my own choices." And I said, "Explain what you." He said, "I understand what you're doing." He said, "But I need to be able to make these mistakes so I can know." And he said, "But what you do is you tell me the outcome before the outcome even comes, and that's what I look for, so I pull myself out of it."
Right.
He said, "You have to let go and let me do this on my own." And it hit me hard, but I was like, "You're right." Because I babied you all your life, because his dad passed when he was 3. So I kind of just took him under, my wings, and just tried to make things better for him. Now, he's an amazing kid, amazing boy. Haven't ever given me any trouble, but now he's 21 and getting in this stage where he's trying to date and different things like that. And I'm frustrated because I don't want him to be used. I don't want a woman to use him because he's such a good guy. But then, I have to realize, Rhonda, he has to go through this to learn. If you want him to be a good man and you want him to be a good husband, how is he going to do that constantly listening to you? So if that means that he get his heart broke, it's a reason for him to get his heart broke. But I got to move out the way and let God be God in his life because I'm not his God. And so now I pull myself back. And there's times I want to say something, but I'm like, nope, he grown. He got to make that choice for himself. Because he was doing things, and when he made mistakes, he thought he was pleasing me. And I was like, no, these mistakes have to be for your growth. And so I pulled back and let him do it.
And that's it. That's what it is. Do we have anybody that want to come up and share their perspective on why do we beat ourselves up when we make mistakes? Come on up. I'm invite you in. What's up? Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you.
Come on in, Brittany.
Come on in, Brittany.
I see she just joined.
Just a couple of people in. Come on in. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Why do we beat ourselves up when we make a mistake? Come on. Hey, how are you?
Hey.
How are y'all?
We are fine.
Fine.
Fine. What's your name and where you from?
I am Brittany, and I'm from Mississippi, but right now I'm in Panama City, Florida.
Okay. Okay.
So what was the question?
Yes, why do we beat ourselves up when we make mistakes?
Ooh, I would say because, as my grandma said, when you know better, you do better. But sometimes we learn from our mistakes. But sometimes the mistakes that we do, we repeat them. So that's why we beat ourselves up, because we repeat some of the same mistakes over and over, but it's always a different outcome. So I beat myself up for mistakes because, girl, you just did it. Why are you doing it again? You have to learn from, but you get different lessons from the mistakes at every time that you do them.
Yes, I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. Well, thank you. Definitely thank you for joining. What's your Instagram so people can follow you?
Blooming through concrete.
All right, Blooming_concrete. That's all the way from Mississippi. And then be careful, okay? Drive.
All right, y'all.
All right. All right. Sims4842. What's your name and where you from?
James Sims.
All right. Where you from?
From Canton, Mississippi.
Okay. Why do we beat ourselves up?
I don't know why y'all do that.
Mistakes?
I don't know why y'all do that. I told you, you don't have to, but y'all still do it. So I can't help.
So why do you beat yourself up when you make mistakes?
I don't beat myself up when I make mistakes. I just try to figure out what I did and try to not overdo it, but try to not even necessarily correct it, but not to do it again.
Okay, okay. You heard that from, what's your Instagram so people can follow you?
All right, well, I don't know what it is. But what is it saying up on the screen?
Let me go back.
4862.
4862.
Yeah, Sim 4862.
That's it. Well, thank you for joining. Happy Sunday.
Thank you. Happy Sunday to you too.
Happy Sunday. Sometimes we put ourselves on a high standard that God is not ready for us to be on.
Say that again.
Roshidra Shumper said, sometimes we put ourselves on a high standard that God is not ready for us to be on. Okay.
Let's talk about it. Let me find you right quick. That's a hot topic. Come on, Rashid. That's a hot topic right there. Come on, let's talk about it.
That's good, because sometimes people do put themselves higher than they ought.
Come on. Put yourselves on a high standard that God is not ready for us to be on. I love it.
Yeah, sometimes we do that.
How you gonna preordain and try to move your standard up, and God ain't ready for you to be right there?
It's a lot of them like that, and it's people like us who need to be in a place and won't even put ourselves there because we so comfortable where we at.
How you doing? What's your name?
My name is Rashidra. How are you?
I
Hey,
am well.
Ro.
Where you from?
Hey, everybody call me Rose.
Oh, come on, roll your boat.
I'm from Mississippi.
Okay. We read your comment, and we want you to expound a little bit more on that. Sometimes we put ourselves on a high standard, but God is not ready for us to be on. Let it rip. I want to hear it.
Well, I know like sometimes we rush things
Mm-hmm.
because I have done it. We rush things, and that ain't where we're supposed to be
Right.
in life. We have to slow down and wait and be patient until it's our time.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's our time, you he'll let you know when it's your time to be there.
So here's my question. Tell us more and describe it. Give us an example of how you rushed yourself and you knew you
Um,
were ready.
I rush myself in relationships.
Oh, now that's a hot topic.
Wow.
Yes, I rush myself in relationships.
And see, and what
Yes,
you do is learn from everybody expressing themselves and having dialogue that things like this do happen. As you hear roll your boat, talk about it. She is really giving her honesty about, yes, I've set my standards in. I want this relationship now. I can't wait on God.
right,
Yes.
Ro wanted like she wanted. That's it. And what happened,
right.
Ro? What happened when you did it?
When I wanted it, it didn't work.
That part.
It did not work.
Can you say that for the people in the background? Because I don't think they heard.
It did not work. It did not work. It's a it's a reason for a season.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Is there any good word
Yeah.
system you want to leave them before you leave today?
Oh, but just pray and make sure that's what God wants you to have. Don't stress yourself.
Amen. Amen. You heard it from Ro. That's all I can say. You heard it from Ro, all the way from Mississippi. What's your Instagram so people can follow you?
Lord have mercy. Roshidra Shumpert.
That's it. That's it.
That's my Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for
It's
joining
good to see you,
us.
Ro.
We hear every.
You too, Rhonda. Me and Rhonda was good co-workers. We were real close.
Okay. Y'all still close, right?
We don't
Yes.
talk as much
Okay.
I
as we
don't
used to.
we don't talk as much as we used to, but I'm still close to
Well, it sounds like
her.
you
She
have
is
a conversation for her now.
me and her real close. She always been my go-to
I
person.
love it. I come on,
Good
Ron.
to see you, Ro.
All right.
All right.
Definitely. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We here every Sunday, okay? All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
You're welcome. Come on through. Why do we beat ourselves up when we make a mistake? Come on through. Can we get some other people on here? Come on, come on, come on. Don't you want to go? We're going to have about 3 more people in here because the queue is hot. The queue is hot. And we letting it go. Why? Uh-oh. Why do we beat ourselves up? Come on. Can I get one? Will there be one more? Don't let us be doing all the talking. Why do we beat ourselves up when we make mistakes? All right, all right. So the thing is, what we need to do is understand that sometimes we set standards too as well, and we put ourselves to where we think we need to be when it's not true. That's not where you need to be. Sometimes we set our standards so high that we're going to fail anyway because we did not do the necessary work in processing what we want. That's just like I can say that sometimes people go into trying to buy a house. How you going to buy a house and you don't have an earnest deposit? That's backwards.
How you gonna buy a house and your credit score ain't even to par?
Well, I wasn't gonna say that. I was trying to be nice. But we set ourselves up for failure a lot.
Yes, we do.
Because we put our hopes on things that are temporary, and God tells us to build our hopes on things eternal.
Yeah, that goes back to what we was talking. What I was telling you the other day when it comes to needs and wants, and sometimes we base our things on wants, and
Right.
then not understanding truly what it is we need. What I've learned, Judah, is that you really don't know what you need until you engage in something that gives you that. So, like I was saying, like every relationship gives you something.
Right.
And it's like when you find someone to give you what you need, it's kind of like it's so foreign, you want to reject it because wait a minute, you know, this is fulfilling something in me. And
Right.
it's like you getting a what you call those things? The shot, you know,
The
you
patch,
put your shot.
the patch.
No, like when you get vaccines, you know, you
Booster
injected a foreign subject in your body, and sometimes your body rejects it.
Right.
That's how it feels when you find somebody to give you what you need to fulfill you. It's kind of like, hold up, wait a minute, you know, this is foreign to me, because we get so comfortable in having what we want that we really never truly know what we need until it's there. And then if you're not careful, you reject the very thing that you need for trying to get what you want, and then you messing up with what you want because that ain't what God has for you. And we have to understand God gives us what we need, not what we want. And so we make mistakes chasing wants instead of needs. And so, like Rose said, we put ourselves in relationships because, oh, he's so fine, or oh, he got money, or oh, you know, oh, he gives me good D, or whatever. And so it ends up this be the worst thing in your life because it's so freaking toxic.
That part right there.
Oh my God, it's so toxic, but you so stuck in it because it's what you want, but you know it ain't nothing what you need. And so,
Candace said, I'm enjoying listening to y'all. Y'all may have to teach me something. We sure will, Candace. Keep listening. We're here every Sunday trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's what Scorpio Tweety said. Hey, Houston, how you doing?
Yep. A lot of people are about images.
From you. Come on and join. Why do we beat ourselves up? And this will probably be our last person, but we want to hear from Tanya in all prosperity. Yes. Why do we beat ourselves up when we
make mistakes?
Why? Okay, she declined. That's good. But guess what? We're going to keep moving. We're here every Sunday from 5 p.m. Eastern Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, Tuesday nights, we be on the Podbean live stream. So if you want to join that, you can just go to the Podbean app and look for the Rise Creating Your Voice and join on the live. If you want to join on the live, just click me, DM me. I can send you the information to your personal link or whatever. So if you want to come on there, because this is Mental Health Awareness Month, we're talking all things mental health on the Podbean Live app. We talked about toxic people last Tuesday.
Oh God, this a common sense.
Are you a toxic person?
Well, I used to be, I ain't gonna lie.
But that's an important part. You might be the one starting up and making other people toxic. Now you no longer want to be toxic, but you made everybody else toxic.
Baby, in my 20s, my mind was on another river. You heard me? And yeah, my anger would get the best of me, and I would act crazy. But I had to learn from that because my mom used to be like, "Girl, one day you gonna be doing that, and somebody's gonna knock your tail out." And I was like, "But I changed."
Is there any? Oh, I have another announcement too as well, because I am getting certified as a health and life coach. I am giving out a free 90-day transformation, and it starts next week. So if you want to do a 90-day free transformation, only thing you got to do is commit and also answer your phone when I call. But you know what? There is work that has to be done. So if you want to be part of the 90-day health transformation, go ahead and DM me now with your email address or telephone number so I can reach out to you, because this starts next week. So we can have that conversation, and you only got to do is commit to 90 days and it is free. So guess what? I am on the way of being certified health coach, life coach, and luckily I'll be certified as an executive coach too as well in February 2023. So a lot of things are happening. I'm thankful, I'm grateful, and we're just going to keep moving forward. I have been asked to be in a Heal Tour too in 2023. So we're going large. We're going large. We're going large. So I'm
That's
thankful
good.
for a lot of things. Huh?
I said, that's good.
Yeah. Any
That's a,
comments, any questions, any announcements from LaRonda?
well, I am a certified life coach, and I have my life coaching class called Authentically Me. And so if you want life coaching classes, you can contact me for a free consultation to see first if I am able to help you. Because sometimes things are beyond my help, okay?
That part.
Sometimes you need mental health assistance, and I'm not a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I'm none of that. I'm a life coach. And what a life coach do is coach you through life to help you overcome things like when you make mistakes, or help you see the bigger picture and change your perspective of things that you may have learned along the way. So I do take clients. I do have a few active clients right now. I also do workshops on teaching self-development skills, and I have a upcoming workshop next month on June the 25th in Oxford, Mississippi, and we will be. It's called the Healing Encore, because I did a healing workshop before and it got so many great reviews, and so we're gonna do a part 2, and it's called the Healing Workshop Encore, and we will be talking about how to master your traumas. The importance of boundaries is suffering in silence. And so that's going to be in June in Oxford. Even though I'm doing it, it's hosted by New Freedom Church of God in Christ. And so they're the ones that's paying and hosting it. So the registration fee is $10, and you can register on www.julesmentoring.com. And it will also be virtual. So if you can't be there personal, then we will have it virtual. And so what happens is when you register, Jessica will send out a code for you to get on my website so you can see everything that's taking place that day. I also have a podcast called Dinner and Dialogue that I am doing getting ready to do a session on, and the topic that we're going to be discussing is, does love hurt? Yes, Candace, it will be live. It will be live. And so I've been hearing a lot of conversation about how bad love hurts. And I'm skeptical, because I don't think that true love hurts. I think it heals. And so I'm going to be asked, so don't be surprised, Jude, if I start asking you questions and bring you on, because I really want to see, why do people think love hurts? I know that it's challenging, and I know it pulls us out of comfort zones, and I know that it's sacrificial, but does it really hurt when it's true love?
But let's be honest, there are many types of love. And
True.
they distinguish between those loves, because sometimes when your parents say they love you, but then they hurt you, it's giving a mixed message.
That's true.
So they probably behaved that love hurts. They probably saw love hurt because people seen abusive relationships through their parents. That's a different love hurt. Huh?
But I get all that, but is that truly love?
We don't.
It's true.
The parents talked about them loving each other, but then again, when the kids see something totally different, remember, we're young. We're young growing up. We can't distinguish what's between love and hurt right now. We just see what we see. It hurts when it comes to the point of it's what you want, but not what you need. Yeah.
And that's my point. Is it the expectations of love or is it love? That's what
Or
I'm
it's
trying to figure out. I don't know. That's what I really want to figure out. Is like
no, we gonna table that for next week. Because we can really get up into that one. So, anybody have any words of wisdom before we leave today? We're at the top of the hour, 6:45 Eastern Standard Time, and you know how we do it. Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell your spouse. Heck, tell everyone. Any words of wisdom before we leave, LaRonda?
My words of wisdom today is it's okay not to always get it right. And don't beat yourself up because you have to navigate through some areas. God knows where you are. He knows what you're doing, and He knows how to put you in the place where He needs you to be. So just be patient and trust the process. That's my word of wisdom for Sunday Jewels on the Rise this week. Trust the process.
Trust the process. I love it. I love it. I love it. My words of wisdom is,
Okay, Candace.
huh?
Candace said, keep me
Okay.
posted on the event. I said, I will.
Wisdom is this: mistakes. Always remember, if you are in a movie industry or on a stage, they always say take one, take two.
Yeah.
Goes with this is every time you make another move, it's like an episode that you're going through.
Mm.
So this is what you got to understand: mistake.
That's good.
You missed it. You missed
I got it. Mistake.
mistake.
Me.
Stop.
Try again.
It ain't nothing but the thing clipping again and say, look, go rewind your tape. Go rewind your tape. Iana says, don't look at failure as stop or let down. Think of it as your eraser and you get a chance to try it again. I always talk about that. As being a social worker, what I would tell people, because I know you did some social worker too, that especially when we get calls in, and you know, it probably be that person's parent, grandmother, somebody who wants the child or something. It always happens. I will actually read the investigative report. My job was to make sure that I touch all highlights in that investigative report. But you know the breakthrough that I gave my clients? I actually tore the report up in their face and said, this is your clean slate. This is erased right here. You tell me your story. I don't want to read this.
Wow. That's how I was when I got transferred cases. And they're like, well, you got my case. I said, yeah, I got it, but I didn't read it. I need to know from you what your point of view is.
But that was a breakthrough because sometimes in that social work, you're steady going and nobody is really listening to the client.
To the client, yes. We
That's
base everything on the
for the
perspective of
client.
the social worker. Mm-hmm.
So,
So,
and that's a whole nother other story.
yeah, it
So,
is.
as we tell you, because you know I'm gonna come out with a whole book saying Social Worker Chronicles, and that right, they save this live. Oh, it's already going to be in there, and definitely Sims 4862 says surrender to the Holy Spirit, and that's one thing we need to do also too as well. Surrender to the Holy Spirit. So as we leave here, my words of wisdom is heal. You got to always remember it's your health, education, advocacy and awareness, and life.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we have to always remember there is healing for the land. But we need to do our part in helping the land get healed.
That's true.
We got to do our part. We got to do our part.
The harvest is plenty.
Hey,
But the laborers are few.
are few. They few. So be part of the labor. Be part of the labor.
Yeah.
Because we're doing our part. We're doing our part on Sunday Jewels on the Rise. So as we leave here, we want you guys to have a happy Sunday and be blessed. And start your Monday off with a what? A mistake. Good night.
Good night, everybody.